Thesis, you vaping on a dick.
Does my condom come off? And that's how people get pregnant. Side note, I just opened up my phone and I saw this picture. Where the fuck was this taken? Is this Russia? I don't know what language that is. That shit looks like Klingon to me. I can't even tell you what the fuck that is. Looks Russian, couldn't tell you. Is McDonald's, what the fuck? If you eat those fries, you're not gonna look like that. I want y'all to know that. There's gotta be a line drawn somewhere between advertising versus genuinely being a part of the fucking vape industry. If you're a model and then you become a vape model, just for the fucking paycheck, come on, man, calm your shit. This industry is a grassroots industry. It needs to stay that way. Of course there's going to be some corporation, there's going to be some corporatizing of the industry. Of course that's going to happen. There's wherever there's money to be made, you're going to capitalize on it. That's great. I believe in capitalism. Capitalism is great, but at the same time, don't try to fucking sell some shit to me because it's got a nice ass in it. Has nothing to do with the MTL status except for if she pooters. That's it. Side note ended. We'll vape out of this. Welcome to Up Close and Personal with your boy Thesis. Now real quick, guys, I know all the shit that I've been talking about this mod is warranted. However, I'm gonna go ahead and say that this is gonna end up by being one of my favorite pod systems. I'm not gonna be giving this bad boy away. I am gonna keep it. I've been excited about it. Now with that being said, let's go and get into the box first and foremost. You got this Manuel right there, beautiful. You got this motherfucker sitting here. Let's go and grab the condom, kind of reproduce what it looks like. So that's exactly how you receive it, just this styrene, cheap ass plasticky styrene shit holding it together. See how cheap that is. Now I know that's kind of subjective, that depends on who you are, but to me packaging does matter. I want to make sure that my shit's protected during the shipping process, as well as it's sort of indicative on how this bad boy is going to end up, but this one is not. This is actually a pretty high quality device. So I picked this up. The first thing I noticed is the weight. The weight of this device with liquid inside the pod is very high. It's not a light device. They call it an ultra portable system, and it is. It's definitely, if you can carry a dick around all day, you can put this shit in your pocket. 135 grams. Good God, that's not fucking light. I did purchase this from VaporDNA.com with my own money, with Patreon money. Appreciate that, my Ninja Kitties. Thank you guys. Huge shout out to you guys for allowing me to do this for a job, as well as bring you guys the most unbiased and unfiltered opinions that I absolutely can. So the most obvious thing to me was the fact that this looks identical or close to identical to the LAN system. This is the LAN system here, except for the big thing that they don't have is that magnetic charger. This one is micro USB. It flips open and it cannot be stood up like this. Otherwise, the design is basically identical. A lot less heavy. This one's a lot lighter. I'm assuming that has to do with also the Bluetooth chip that this thing has. So the first pod that I use is going to be the gold one. That's this guy here. This one's specifically set up for MTL and high nic salt, high concentration of nicotine, so nic salt liquid, etc. This one is non-temperature control, which I kind of wish it was, especially with it being nic salt. It'd be great if they were all temp control. However, the fact that this one is not does not bother me. This tank specifically, the gold one, the nic salt one, this is a 0.8 ohms. This one produces a phenomenal mouth to lung, if I do say so myself. This is gonna be the size of the actual chimney itself. Is absolutely tiny. I would say maybe 4 millimeters at the absolute most. If you look at this, that's your airflow slot, which is roughly 1.5 millimeters. Let's go ahead and go into the dildo mod right there. And so the way you connect it is you just go ahead and tap that and take a puff. Boom. That simple. Temp control with this one specifically, the salt nic pod, is not going to work with the temp control, as well as the P flow. You just slide that over to P. Come on, man. P flow. Bam. And that's going to be basically your personal curve. So however you want to set it up as 15 at the top, and it goes down to 12, 12, 12, and then 15, 15, 15, and then back down to 12. As I'm taking a puff, you're going to see it go 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way down the line, and then start back at the beginning like a round robin. Beautiful. Back over to power. I'm gonna hit this back up to 15 watts. That's roughly where it needs to be. Perfect. I want to make fun of this device, but the more and more I began to use it, the more and more I enjoyed it. Not only do I like it, but I keep the bitch in my pocket, and it's super embarrassing popping the shit out at the mall or wherever I'm at. The magnetic charging on it is wonky, to say the least. Look at this. It's so fucking wobbly. It's like a hot dog in a hallway, pardon the pun. See those two little dots? Make sure they're lined up with those. I wish there was a couple of slots in there so that way it would just drop in without any thought. Before I get any further, I want to touch on the LED. I wish this was a little bit different. It starts at green, which is 40% of the battery and above. It will show green every time you take a hit. Now watch what happens to the battery as well as the wattage when I swap out these coils quick. Pop off the dickhead, just like that. Now I do have a Nic salt in this just because I wanted to try it. I purchased several more of these. These are the 0.2 ohm stainless steel pods. They are a little bit more airy than the gold ones. However, you can still produce a solid MTL hit on it. Go ahead and pop the dickhead back on and let's see if it changes. As I took a hit, it changed immediately over to the stainless steel. 0.30 on the ohm. It's supposed to be 0.2, so it's a little bit off. The battery level, I'm a little bit pissed off because it won't change. I just got done charging it a little while ago. I popped in the new pod, this pod, the silver pod, 0.2 ohm pod, and it changed all the way down to 30% or less. Though right here it was still flashing green, so there's a couple of things that are off. I'm not sure what it is and what they have to update for it, but I wish it'd do it soon because personally I'm really digging this pod. I'm really digging the app. The concept is great. Let's go over the P flow. So as I adjusted this, and I showed you guys earlier, 34 all the way up to goes to back to 28 watts, and then it goes back down to 22 watts. Can I just go ahead and say it's fucking ironic that this shit looks like a dick and they've got something called P flow? Is it just me? No? Pop the dickhead back on, give it a little twist. By the way, the metal and the quality is phenomenal, except for if you look inside here. What the fuck is going on with that shit, Pavinno? You can do better than that. Look at this. Look at how beautiful the lawn is. Yes, it's just painted. It's kind of a cheap pewter looking paint. At least it doesn't look like this. Looks like somebody took a shit inside there. Okay, mother truckers, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the coil. They're basically set up identically except for, like I said, this one's a stainless steel temp control version. And these coils have lasted me quite some time, though if you do overpower them, you will end up by getting a couple burnt hits here and there. These are some of the prettiest coils I've seen for any pod system. The fact that it's basically a reservoir or a tank, I love it. For low nicotine e-liquid, the biggest reason for that is A, it's temp control, B, it's higher wattage, and then more importantly, it's got a little bit looser of a draw, but I can tell you right now that this chimney aids in keeping it into an MTL. I like the fact that they have a difference between the two pods, but at the same time, I've been rocking Nic salts in this one, no problem. 55 milligram menthol, and it works flawlessly. Good God. The condom is cute, I guess. I mean, I like the fact that I'm able to hold it with my teeth, but this tip is not long enough for you to actually have it in your mouth and hold it in your mouth like a cigar. Plus, this thing weighs way too much for you to actually do that. Now, with the battery life being around 1400 milliamp hour, I have been able to get this one to last roughly 6 hours at the power setting it's at now. Right here, the temp control, I usually keep it up around 250 or so, right there. At 212, though, believe it or not, with Salt Nic, you're able to get a solid vape out of that. Let's go ahead and take a puff. Listen to this. Super warm. Let's go and bring it up to 300 and say 25-ish. Oh my God. Pavinno, if you guys put this shit, all this technology into a mod that didn't look like a fucking dick, you guys could have something on your hand that, in my opinion, I would begin to recommend over any other device to quit smoking with. At 50 bucks, personally, I think it's a bit expensive. However, with this technology built into it, I'm thinking that the quality of this device overrides the price tag, in my humble opinion. Now, granted, is everyone willing to pay 50 bucks for a pod system? Absolutely not. But this, to me, is someone who's seeking a high-quality vape, a low-maintenance, high-quality vape that has options. And to me, that's something I'm always about. I like options that work. Temp control is not something that I'm a huge fan of when it comes to most regulated devices. However, with that said, when it's this easy, when it's that fucking simple, I enjoy it. Here's the issue that I'm having with this device is I'm really not sure on whether or not, as soon as I disconnect the device via Bluetooth, if it's going to maintain the settings that I set up in my iPhone. I'm hoping that that's the case, and I've been using it, and it seems like it is. It's going to go to P-Flow. Let's go ahead and make something really obvious. Let's go ahead and bring it down to, yeah, we'll bring it down like that, and we'll keep these at 40. So when we feel it, if we feel it, hit and boost up during the middle of the hit without the phone, then we know that it keeps the settings. Let's go and turn Bluetooth off once. Okay, not connected. Let's go and listen. Definitely. Let's go and do it again. I like the fact that I don't have to go into my settings, by the way, to fucking connect this bad boy. Go straight up into the app and it works. Connect. Let's see if we got to not take a hit. Shit, we didn't have to take a hit on that one. Dope. Let's go and bring it up to 428 watts. We're going to go ahead and risk burning a coil for this. Super hot. All right, let's go and turn off the Bluetooth quick. See if it keeps it there. sure fucking does. That's dope. I really enjoy this fucking app. The app is so simple to use. I like it a lot. No complaints there except for the battery level I wish was a little bit more accurate. Personally though, I like this P-Flow. I think the P-Flow, God, I fucking cannot take myself seriously saying that shit. So the way that you fill the pods real quick is you go ahead and take the tweezers, pop this, and it's got this ring that goes all the way around. Go ahead and take your liquid, whatever you choose, swagga-bams. You fill her up and you call it good. You got to make sure to take this little bottom portion off right here. This is going to expose the center pin, which is your positive pin, and then of course your ground right there. Gorgeousness. And then bam, let that liquid soak in for a couple of minutes. And I am super glad that I ended up by grabbing the silver one specifically for the temp control feature. Not only that, but you're unlocking literally 30 extra watts that I didn't know this thing had. If you look down the chimney, you're going to see that the coil itself, the chimney is a lot wider on the left than it is on the right. The airflow slots themselves though are identical, 2.5 mils by 1 mil, and there's not much of a difference. A little more loose, but that's still a full-fledged MTL. I'm still happy with the silver one in terms of MTL. And again, for a pod system, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Bitches, okay, smother truckers. Now with that being said, let's go and get back to regular view, son. Now the final summation is this. The Puro is several things. It's hilarious, it's not focusing, that's one of the things that it is. The throat hit on this hilarious looking device is phenomenal. I don't want to say that this thing is deep-throated, but goddamn, like it fucking hits hard. Like it hits like an alcoholic stepmom. Whew. The shit is amazing, and I don't want to like it specifically because I don't want to be in public doing this shit. You know what I'm saying? I just don't. If you want to talk about vape and robot dicks and shit, this is about as robot dickish as it gets. Now I don't know if Lon and Pavinno have anything to do with each other, but I can tell you right now, they both use the identical coils. They both use a virtually identical top cap that sits like that, comes down, twists, and there you go. The biggest issue that I've had with it thus far is a stupid fucking charger. By the way, it charges extremely fast. I think it was in 45 minutes to an hour, and when I first got it, I thought it didn't work because it just wasn't working. I popped the pod in, and usually they come pre-charged, sort of like between 35 and 45%, and it wasn't at all. It didn't even turn on. I had to let it sit on the charger for 15 minutes or a half hour before it actually indicated that it was working. Now, with Thesis's patented finger compatibility scale, in the way that it vapes, fucking solid 8.5. In the way that it looks, a 3, unless you were going for a dick. If you were going for a dick, the shit, give it a 10. It fucking looks just like a dick. Bam. It's even got a condom. I can't make that up, unfortunately. I know this, you vaping on a dick, bitch. Did my condom come off? And that's how people get pregnant. Bitches, there's not much else for me to say. Does it have an amazing MTL? It absolutely does. It's got a phenomenal mouth to lung. Everything is a sexual innuendo. It's got an amazing mouth to lung. The coils on it last quite a long time. I'm running off of like a week and a half, almost 2 weeks. I'm actually using the same juice that I've been using since August. Jewel Mint is, it's one of my favorite pod system juices for menthol. It's fucking phenomenal. Bitch, it's okay, some mother truckers. Now with that being said, I want to tell y'all that I appreciate y'all for vaping with Thesis. It is your boy Thesis. I'm out.